Good morning. I'm Karen Toratis with Social U, and we are coming at you live today, 10 a.m. like we do every week on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. for What's Up Wednesday. Wow, I think I need more caffeine for sure. For sure. So it's July. Happy new month, and this month we are talking about how to plan your content, how to stay on track while you unplug. How to know what to post when you're not sure what to post, like burnout, how to deal with burnout, and the art of repurposing. So we're going to jump into multiple versions of getting content for yourself. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. Today we're talking about content and kind of ideal versus realistic. So first and foremost, how do you plan your content within your bandwidth? As a small business owner, and as there have been cutbacks and changes to so many different organizations, nonprofits, corporates, a lot of people wear a lot of hats. So you can only do what you can do, and there are only so many hours in a day. And today I really want to focus on how to make your time work more effectively for you and how you can really optimize the time that you have. So the first thing, planning is everything, especially on the front end. So ideally, you want to start with a social media content calendar, a detailed overview of your upcoming social media posts, organized by date and time. It can take any form that is preferable to you, document, spreadsheet. We have a free spreadsheet version. I will make sure that link is below in the comments. You're more than welcome to have that. But one of the first things you want to do as you begin to plan, because planning will save you the most time. Yes, it absolutely takes you time on the front end to do the planning, but the time it saves you on the back end is irreplaceable. So let's talk about that content calendar. Okay, first thing you want to do is you want to check your current social and your website to make sure that your links are linking, you have the right downloads, that kind of thing. You want to go ahead and check for any imposter accounts that might have your name on it. You want to complete any of your profile about sections or your bio sections and make sure that your information is correct and consistent, and take a look at what's working and what's not. Audit is your first step. You also need to verify that you're on the right platform. If you have been spending, let's say you spend all your time on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and you're getting a return on investment on YouTube, but Instagram not so much, shift your focus. Take the time you need to change. It is perfectly okay to be on one or two platforms, and that's it. You don't have to be on 7 platforms. My company kind of can't get away with that because we're a social media company. We need to show expertise on all levels. But a regular nonprofit or a small business, you don't have to be all things to all people for sure. You do want to niche down more so that you have more time to spend on what works for you and what puts money in your pocket. You really have to focus on the ROI. Is it just me? Do I keep freezing? Is it it's my Wi-Fi? Okay, sorry. You want to use your template. You can use ours that's free so that you know what you're going to post kind of ahead of time. And something that helps us tremendously, we'll go ahead and go through and mark special occasions, special holidays, and determine monthly themes. Like the theme for July is content, but the holiday for this month is July the 4th. If you sell donuts and you miss National Donut Day, that's not good for your business. So you need to take a minute and sit down and figure out which months work best for you. If you are a therapist and you specialize in adolescent intervention, you need to know Mental Health Month. You need to know Adolescent Health Month. You need to focus on Women's Month, Men's Month. There are so many different ways that you can approach that content, but you need to know what your options are. So you're going to go to the National Days calendar, and that's exactly what you type into Google, and it will pull it up by day, month, and thematic quarter. So it gives you a much better understanding of what's available to you, and then you can put it into your content calendar and plan around it. Okay, so once you have your holidays and your special days marked, you want to start brainstorming ideas for categories for a 2-week rotation. We start with a generic suggestion, but you want to customize that to work for you. And again, I'm going to say this again. Bandwidth is everything. Can you post every day of the week? Sure, but don't do that. You're going to burn out. You're going to burn out hard and quickly. So don't do that. You want to do what works for you. So on the content calendar that we provide, we do six suggestions. So like Monday through Saturday for 2 weeks. So you're going to have 12 different suggestions that you can go in there and customize. If you're only going to post 4 days a week, that's easy. You pick and choose the ones that work for you and do that. But having a plan ahead of time will save you so much time in the long run. I can tell you from personal experience, it is super frustrating when it's Tuesday at 2 o'clock and you haven't posted and you're on the way to the doctor, or you have had some other emergency or fire that you need to put out. It's good to know ahead of time, because scheduling makes all the difference in the world. You also want to create a location to save your ideas and your inspiration, like Pinterest or Google is always a good option for like the parking lot space. Having a Google folder where you drop raw footage and you pre-categorize it, it's so helpful and it saves you time in the long run. I still like Pinterest. We still use Pinterest. We actually get a lot of traction on Pinterest. It doesn't work for every single company, but it does work for us. So if you, whatever brainstorm, whatever content that you have, thank you, Becky. She has provided the national calendar link so that everybody can see it. There you go. Thanks, Becky. My special and sparkly unicorn. But make sure that you are keeping your inspiration, because when you're in the moment, it's a lot harder to come up with those ideas, especially if you're batch creating video content. You will be shocked at how quickly you forget what you're doing when you get in front of a camera if you don't have a list. And as you're creating your content, you want to remember it's like you definitely want to educate, inform, and entertain, but you need about a third of your content to promote your actual business. And you could even reduce that a little bit more and make it more of a fourth. Some of it needs to align with your industry. Some of it needs to align directly with your followers' questions and like your followers responding to questions, specific comments, or user-generated content. So you do want to use, you need a nice mix. It can't always be promotion. It can't always be, this is what we have on sale. This is what we're pushing right now. It's more of an 80-20 rule. You want to educate, inform, and entertain about, excuse me, 80% of the time. And about 20% of the time, you do need to promote yourself. If you are good at what you do, you are doing your clients a disservice if you don't tell them more about what you do. And I say that as someone who doesn't promote what we do enough. I know I don't. But I never want to come across as pushy or rude or salesman-y. So I'm always a big believer, I've always have been a big believer of when people are ready for your service, if they're familiar with your content and you've established that know, like, trust factor, they'll come to you, and they will. You also want to make sure that you're doing your research. And one of the best ways to do that is to just be on social consistently, so that you're finding out what's trending, what's working, what do you prefer, what works for you, what works for your brand. Take the time to look at your own comments and listen to your audience. Collaborate with other small business owners. Listen to input from your team. Your team is invaluable. Find out what they think and work on that. And then, of course, scheduling is going to save you a ton of time. Ideally, you want to schedule inside the app itself. Like Facebook prefers when you schedule inside Facebook for Facebook and Instagram. LinkedIn, you can schedule inside LinkedIn. They all have their own scheduling tool. About the only one you can't schedule is Pinterest. And if you're going to do that, Tailwind is still effective for Pinterest. But don't just randomly post. Scheduling is so much better, especially when you know the times of day that's going to be the most effective. And oh, look, shocking, that's next. Organic reach, not surprising at all, it's down everywhere. Facebook seems to be hit the hardest currently. The average Facebook post engagement is less than 1%, which is terrible. It's terrible. So the numbers aren't expected to perk up anytime soon. So it is critical that you be consistent, because Facebook does reward consistency. And there's nothing more frustrating to me than you post a few times and it doesn't work. So you stop and then you get nothing. So consistency. But there is a very big gap between what is recommended and what you can actually have time to do. So most of the platforms want you to post, and seriously, almost all of the platforms will tell you the best times to post, but they're going to conflict. So you have to look at your own analytics and see what works for you. Just across the board, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, they're all going to tell you weekdays between like 9 and 4. YouTube, it's weekdays between 2 and 4. Pinterest, it's 8 to 11. All of these are weekdays. Every single one, especially LinkedIn, Tuesday through Thursday. Nobody cares about Twitter. TikTok, 9 to 5. So most of the time, these during the day are where you want to be. The best day for most is Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, but you got to test and see what works for you and do it consistently for 30 days. And then if that doesn't work, shift your time, shift your day, and see if that will help. And again, there is a huge gap between what is ideal and what is doable. Instagram's CEO recommended that you post on their platform 3 to 5 times a week in your posts, 2 to 6 times a day on your stories, and they want a reel every day. That is an insane amount of content. What is doable? 3, 3, and 3 is a great. I default to 3s pretty consistently. 3 posts, 3 reels, 3 stories. And sometimes those reels can double as a post if it works for your content plan. But 5 or 6 reels, 5 or 6 stories a day, that is so much content. And stories take longer to generate than almost anything else. So you're talking about 3 to 6 hours on stories a week. That is overwhelming to me. So do what you can do within your bandwidth that you can do consistently. Facebook wants you to post 1 or 2 times a day, even though some of the largest researchers and the largest experts, Hootsuite, HubSpot, Social Pilot, will all tell you once a day. Even if you have thousands of followers, when you start posting more than 1 time a day on Facebook, you are cutting your engagement in half. Facebook says twice a day. That will literally shoot you in the foot. You have to do what works for you. LinkedIn, once a day. That's plenty. You can do your page on Monday and your profile on Tuesday. You don't have to post on both every single day. Pinterest and Twitter are different. They need more content for you to make a bigger splash. So you need ideally multiple posts a day. Again, overwhelming. Going in there to schedule will relieve so much stress. YouTube, 1 to 3 posts of shorts a week and only 1 long a week. 1 long post a week at the same time every single week will teach YouTube that every single week on Thursday at 2 o'clock, you're going to post this. That's a great way to do it. But consistency is key. Every single platform rewards consistency. So that's what you want. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Join me again next week when we talk about how do you go on vacation and maintain your presence. It is doable. We're going to talk about how to do it next week. Until then, I am Karen Taradas with Social You, and I'm here to help. Thanks.